Surprise!
Awesome stuff. Just immediately could not be more stoked about that animation. It is wonderfully, masterfully done. And immediately, the most important thing, it is, by my eye, and I didn't Google this, but as stylistically as I can kind of piece together here, I'm fairly certain that this is the same studios who did the Shadow Dark Beginning shorts when Shadow Generations got released. And those are also all amazing. If you haven't seen them, go watch them. Covers a lot of his backstory, but they're just good watches. So absolutely go watch those. I may revisit those at some point, probably as a retrospective when the channel's more up and going. But right now, those studios, I'm glad to see that they're back, assuming that it's the same studio. If not, this new studio absolutely matched the style perfectly. Either way, it speaks to consistency, which the series has struggled with over the years, and always gets me nervous because I would see an update and I wouldn't know what to expect. The franchise has a habit of going back to the well. They certainly enjoy rehashing every version of Green Hill that you can imagine. And the problem that I've had with that for years is that if something is constantly being dragged back out in front of my face, it stops being nostalgic and it just starts being ever-present. I don't feel the same way about Green Hill that I did when I was a kid, and it's largely just because they keep bringing it back. And eventually, you lose that connection. It stops being as important or significant. I don't want that to happen going forward, but if we are going to see any of that stuff again, I want it to be in an actual modern context and not just as some thing that they can duct tape on to a different product to be like, oh, see, you guys like Green Hill? We have Green Hill. It's very, look how you grew up with that. It's pretty great, don't you think? You should come do our thing. I'm over that. We are in a new era, and the movies have brought in a whole slew of fans who are seeing the franchise for the first time, likely children. Now, turn down the volume a little bit while I play through this again. Freezing on the first frame. We have the gang's all here, but +2. Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, the main three. Amy has been put into this group a lot more recently, and we're getting a more mature, more grown-up version of Amy. I am happy to see it. They're effectively reforming her character. Another character who's also kind of going through his own reform right now is Knuckles. They are getting Knuckles back to his roots. In contrast, Amy is getting as far away from them as possible. And both characters are better for it. We also have Shadow and Rouge, notably working together with the other four. Something we don't get to see often, something I am stoked about. Absolutely big fan. Fun little note here. First thing I noticed when it started playing, the other five are absolutely locked in, but Sonic could not be happier to be here. He is relaxed in his zone, could not be bothered by anything. Shadow's over here, most serious face. He's in a battle stance. You know how, arrogant Shadow is for him to be threatened enough to drop into a battle stance? Sonic could probably do to take this more seriously. I noticed that we have Tails in frame, again, as I mentioned, and he never shows up for the rest of the video. Don't know what that's about, not sure why. There is a vibe that they're trying to give with this angle and perspective, the lighting and everything. And to move on to the next portion.
Surprise!
To me, that doesn't sound like Mike Pollock. I could be wrong. The voice actor who had played him for years, and legendary, no getting around it, that Mike Pollock to me is Eggman. Could be a more shrill take, more sinister is the vibe they're going for. I hope that best fits the description of his voice, but it is definitely more intense. Hopefully, we're taking Eggman into a different direction, away from silly, comedic bad guy to truly sinister villain. And the fact that he chose Metal Sonic as the weapon of choice, so to speak, speaks to that for me, because Metal Sonic has always been a serious threat in his modern incarnation. Old school versions of him, not so much, especially in the early days when there was like 6 different versions of Metal Sonic. But ever since we got this incarnation of him, he has been a massive, massive threat. Usually not in his base form, as we see here. But if the animation's any indication, he's gotten a few upgrades, and he was always climbing in power before. Maybe we're seeing the culmination of that. Flawless. Knuckles just gets his shit rocked right away. It's funny to me. I enjoyed that. He looked the most prepared out of all of them, and he's the one who just gets rocked. I don't know if that's to send a message about how serious this is. It did have a degree of intensity to it that portrays it as very serious, but it just, there's something... Knuckles getting immediately bounced is funny to me. Point of note, as we see Sonic does spin dash, hits Metal, sets him up for Shadow. That is the last we see Sonic in this entire animation, which is unexpectedly good, in my opinion. I know Sonic the Hedgehog is his franchise. Recently, we have gotten more of the side characters that have made up the world, which for years Sega seemed to be allergic to doing. They did not want to bring Sonic's friends on adventures. I'm glad to see that they're getting away from that. A lot of fans truly do love the world. They have a lot of attachment to these characters, and to see them get more of a spotlight role is exactly the kind of thing I would hope to see in any of these products moving forward. But so much so that, like, Sonic might have less screen time than Rouge in this animation. Pretty wild to see. They kind of hinted at this sort of thing with Crossworlds, where at the end of the intro movie or video, Shadow actually wins that race. He beats Sonic at the end. So, maybe times are changing. Great sequence there. This fight is just getting started. Shadow immediately doing Shadow things, getting right to scrapping. Amy and Rouge doing their part, jumping in, going directly to Knuckles afterward, ripping off whatever the support is to just chuck it at Metal. This man is just doing anything. Knuckles is out here in his most unhinged fighting I have ever seen. I'm here for it. I want to see this kind of tenacity out of the characters. Shadow aura-forming, as usual, immediately swatting away the metal piece that got chucked at him, just to go take this cable and tie up Metal, Chaos Control. The stylistic choice here is phenomenal. The fact that Chaos Control is now a silent ability, interesting choice. I don't know if that's intentional or not. We have a great degree of texture and tone, setting the vibe. The storytelling is silent in many ways. The characters aren't talking, but we're picking up a lot about where Metal Sonic is at this stage and why they are considering him such a massive threat. He's getting jumped, and it doesn't seem to be doing much. Shadow resorting to this kind of strategy is a little out of character for him. Kind of a warning sign of what we're dealing with here. Pausing in very quickly. That setup, part of the storytelling. Adding to the context of things that we've known recently, Shadow could have set that up to anybody. He chose Amy, of all people. Shadow kind of has a working relationship with most of the characters. He doesn't mind them, but he doesn't particularly care for them either. It's a little bit different with Rouge and Amy. And Amy might be a little surprising, but Amy has a history of being able to talk to Shadow and get through to him. Back in the SA2 days, it was because she reminded him of Maria. Not sure how much of that context has stayed the same, but as we know from the April Fool's release of the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, Amy and Shadow did go to a concert. He bought her a birthday gift, and Shadow, edgelord, overly serious, stick in the mud, just historical pain in the ass when it comes to anything social. Not only did he go to Amy's birthday party, but he dressed up in a costume and played his role. It speaks to how much he actually values her. Out of all of the cast, Rouge is probably still the most important to him, Omega to some degree as well, but Amy is also significant to him in a way that doesn't get spoken about, but is shown through actions. In addition to character chemistry, Rouge immediately setting up Knuckles. These two have a long history, rivals, opposition often. They fought each other enough that I think they have a good idea of how each other does things. So to see the instant chemistry on the team up, fantastic. Again, Knuckles on his absolute most unhinged. This is his get back for earlier. He gets all of it, at least in this short bit here. But as it ends, he gets his shit rocked again. Knuckles is just getting the worst of it. The other characters get a little bit here and there throughout the animation. Knuckles just gets decked twice. It's just funny to me. I don't know why. It's funny because it's Knuckles. I don't know if it would have had the same effect if it were anybody else. But again, the storytelling, all of this happening, Metal's fine. He only got a scratch on him, despite the fact that he just got dummied like 5 seconds ago. We are not dealing with a run-of-the-mill Metal Sonic here. They are presenting him as a serious threat. Despite that, I don't think he is the big bad. I don't know that that is the case. Eggman, scary in this animation. Metal, way scarier. Maybe it's a bias from more recent iterations. I just don't think that they are the ultimate bad guys. Probably a major role. Maybe I'm digging too far out from other sources, but they did do that Chaotix old-timey radio noir thing a little while ago, and they did bring back Infinite. Not stoked about Infinite. I could do without ever seeing Infinite again, but we're here. I wouldn't be sad if he doesn't show up, but they seem to be teasing him. I just don't think Metal Sonic is the baddie, at least not in this base form. As badass as it is, as powerful as he seems to be, it doesn't do it for me in that way. At least, like, I'm not convinced. It's only 40 seconds. I could easily be wrong, but something greater is at play, and that would only make sense because why would they spoil the show? But of all the things they could give us, an action sequence, a front-to-back action sequence. Just, if we're getting more of this, I could not be happier. This is exactly the kind of thing I've wanted for years. I am so stoked. Couple other minor notes to go along with it. I mentioned the voice actor for Eggman. I felt the same way about Amy in the grunting bit that she did with the hammer. Doesn't quite sound like her normal voice actress, but I can't quite tell. Not 100%. The Knuckles, as subtle as it was, I do think that's the same voice actor, because they did recently switch out Knuckles. Sorry, Travis. I enjoyed your rendition, but they wanted to go a different direction. I think it's good for the character overall, and I'm pretty sure it's the same voice actor. It would be weird if they just, like, hi, bring you on board for like 3 years and then kick you out. So my instinct says that maybe I'm just not hearing the characters appropriately. Maybe the voice direction is different as such to increase intensity, and therefore it just doesn't sound the same because we haven't had that kind of intensity for some time now. But I'm happy about it. If that is what they've done, the new voice actors nailed it. It is perfect for the vibe. Personally, this is the thing I'm looking forward to the most. Even more than the new game that's been rumored for forever. Frontiers 2, or whatever it's supposed to be. This more than that. I have no criticisms here. Animation is immaculate, and it feels like a small part of my inner child is healed by just watching this. We're eating good right now, the old heads, and for all of you who are getting on board now and are new, God, I'm so jealous. I wish that this was the kind of thing we got for the last 20 years, because while I'm not going to have any qualms making up for missed time, the fact that, like, you are all getting this quality just right now, with the movies too, it's a new... I'm not going to say golden age, but things are looking up. I hope it keeps this trend. My message to Sega, stay the course. Keep going. Don't go back to the well. I have no reason to revisit the same things that you've been doing for years. I want new. I want fresh. This checks all the boxes, surpasses expectations. Do this. Phenomenal job to the studios. I'm stunned with how they are able to keep a stylistic and intricate design with all of the action going on, and all of the characters look not just correct, which would have been the bare minimum, and I've gotten so accustomed to accepting it, but good, really good. They have even outdone themselves from the shadow animations. I have more thoughts. I don't know that I want to make this video too much longer. If I was going to put a capstone on this, I am probably going to make the prediction that there's going to be more ties to other media, and I think genuinely, we are looking into a future here with the franchise where we can expect contingency, or continuity, not contingency. Have a contingency, but continuity first. And if all is going to be finally solidified in that way, and this is what we can expect, we'll probably have the blue guy around for another 35 years easy. Next video, I'll probably talk more about other things that I think this hints to, but are a little beyond the scope of right now. That's all I got. I'll see y'all in the next one, and deuces.